Alright, I think we're back and we're good now.
When we lived in Sandy the second time
Yeah.
up on Evan, and you didn't like school there at all. They were really not fun. But you went over to Joey's teacher and said, I know Joey can be difficult at times. He's hard to manage. How is he doing? You were in what, the 3rd or 4th grade?
Checking up on him.
Checking
Yes.
up
And, you know, but I'd never heard of a child going and checking up on us.
You know,
With the teachers.
make sure he's doing alright.
Yeah, well,
on. That was the time, no, in Sandy at the second time, that was the time when we came home from, or Nani came home from work, and she drove up, and you guys had taken all the mattresses out.
several mattresses.
And ours was a split level house.
Mm-hmm.
So you guys had, below the first level, you guys had put all the mattresses and you were jumping out of the window
Playing fire escape.
onto the mattresses.
And I drove up from the police station and looked there, and there you guys were, a story and a half up, but
Jumping on them.
jumping out the window. And the water balloons that I would, you'd stand on, where you broke your arm, you'd stand on that little balcony
Oh.
place and toss water balloons down at unsuspecting, stumps and
Maybe we can get him to, somebody, there was a pipe at the end, of our garden.
Mm-hmm.
That was a stand-up pipe that went down into the street.
it didn't have a cover over
And
it.
it didn't have a cover over it. And somebody filled the whole pipe up with rocks, which caused the street department to have to come out and dig that whole pipe up and replace
I
it.
think it was John.
It was one of the boys. I don't know who it
And
was.
David had to go down with Dad, and it was ice cold in the water. There was water in there. Because I remember he had a smaller arm and hand,
And had to fish out as many as he could, but
we couldn't get them
we
all out.
couldn't get them all out. And so eventually they came and they had to dig up the pipe out into the.
I don't remember.
It was either David or John.
Well,
Yeah.
David was the one who got to get
David was
them out.
the one that got to get them out,
He
so
did.
maybe it was David, but I don't know.
But it was John that put him in.
I think it probably was John.
Oh my goodness.
So, what are some of the funny stories? What can you remember about Joey?
Being afraid of him.
Because he never quit.
Oh, he had a temper, and
Well, he really did.
he didn't really think through what would happen when he was mad. So, I mean, in his mind, swinging a 2x4 at you was
Yes, it was nothing.
totally justified if he was mad. So,
And didn't we call him Joey Morning or something like that?
And Joey afternoon.
yes.
Because
And
if you
Sabrina's
woke
just
him
like
up from his nap
Or in the morning.
or in the morning before
He woke himself up.
he woke himself up, he was just a tyrant.
Awful.
Yes.
Awful. He was very cute looking. And most of the time he was always very nice to me, but Brian has told me some wild stories. The one about the 2x4 and the one that he would throw a stick up in the air and try and run around the house before it came down.
Yes. No. What did Joey? I think if I remember right, what Joey would do is he would take 2 chopsticks, and he would take 1 chopstick, and say, "I'm going to throw his chopstick up," and then run around the house before it hits the ground. And so he'd throw 1 chopstick up, take off running around to the edge of the house so he could run in a circle around that thing, and he'd run all the way through the family room and all the way to the kitchen or whatever, and by the time he came back up, he'd throw the other chopstick up. And then he'd stop, and the chopstick would hit the ground, and he'd say, see? There you go.
Oh, did he?
Yeah. Joey would do that.
I just remembered we had a mattress that was from a hide-a bed,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
and you would get him, not you, the three of you
Mm-hmm.
would get him on that mattress and roll it up and put belts and things around him to get him to hold still.
Tie
And
him
they
up.
would say to me, "Did you give him more sugar?"
Yeah.
Because he
Yeah.
was just, boy, he'd get going and he was really going.
He was very
And
Joey.
he was not afraid of David.
No.
No, he wasn't afraid of anybody, was he?
Joey wasn't afraid of anyone.
No, he wasn't. And one day you came in and said to me, "You know, Joey doesn't show me any respect at all." And I said, "So why should you be any different?"
Yeah.
I said, "The only people he shows respect to is your father and the bishop, and everybody else was."
Was, yep. Lower the totem pole.
But he would say to David, "No, I will not go get your popcorn. You go get it yourself." and David had you other guys pretty well,
Trained.
yeah. But at the same time, Joey was the youngest, and he didn't want to. Nobody wanted to really hurt him. You
Yeah.
probably wanted to really hurt him,
No.
but they didn't want me to be mad.
Yeah.
But I just laughed when you just rolled them up in the in the sleeping bags and lie. You guys would lie on top of him in the
Yes.
sleeping bag. And they'd say, "You have to say uncle."
And he
Give
never
up.
would.
And he wouldn't, and he wouldn't.
Or he wouldn't, and he would take it back.
Yeah,
Yep.
he'd say it. And then as soon as you undid him,
Yeah.
he'd
he would.
say, "I lied."
Yep.
Do
Joey.
you remember me ever snapping my belt?
Oh yeah. That used to scare us to death when you take that belt and you'd snap it.
Yeah.
Well, you know, when I was young, my dad spanked me with the belt all the time.
Yeah.
Well, you spanked David.
And
so-
I spanked David. I think I spanked David, and maybe did I spank John too? I may have. I don't remember spanking you.
No.
Oh, no. Yeah, yes, I do. But and
But not
you.
with the belt.
No, it wasn't with the belt. But you would say, what was it?
"Don't you love me?
Don't you love me?
Why did you
To hurt me?
Did you miss me? Don't you love me anymore?" And he'd follow you around the house, and it was just not worth it.
So and so I gave up doing that. Let's see if I can do it. But so this is what I would do to scare the kids.
Oh yeah.
Let's see if it'll do it.
Oh yeah.
Scared the dog.
See?
Yep. You used to do that, and we'd be like, "Oh,
And it
yeah."
was scared. That's how I.
I remember that.
Yes.
And also the other thing I would do when the kids were noisy in the car. I don't know if you. I mean, maybe it was probably John and David, but I would take my belt off and I would go like this, and I'd swing it around try to hit the back seat.
And you get down underneath.
You guys would get down underneath.
I can remember coming back from Dick and Masako's in Provo.
Yes.
Yeah.
And he said, "When I get home, you guys are going to get," as
Oh,
they were
yes.
fighting,
Uh-huh.
"you are really going to get a spanking." And when he got home, BYU was playing football.
Yes.
So he ran downstairs and turned on the TV.
Yeah.
And then those dumb boys went down and told them, "You forgot to spank us, you forgot to spank." Well, he was up and running and up those stairs, and you chased them, David and John, clear up in the tree.
In the tree house, huh?
Yes, and
I
I don't know if you spanked him or not.
I don't think I did.
remember the board you had.
Oh, yes.
The Joey used to hide.
Mm-hmm.
Where is that?
It was hanging up over there, but I don't know if it's still
Let's see if I can find it real fast, but I don't,
there. No one else touched it.
oh, no.
It
I don't
was
see it.
shaped like a fraternity
Paddle.
paddle.
Yeah.
Yes. And it was probably half an inch
Yeah.
of wood. I don't know, I don't think he ever hit anyone with it. I hope not.
Here it is.
There it is, he found
You
it.
found it?
Okay, I found it. So this is what I would never spank him with this, but when I was in junior high, I had a teacher who had a fraternity paddle. It was a lot like this, and if you were bad in class, he would get you up in the front of the room, and he would whop you one. So. And it was just boys. If it was a girl, he would make a guy come up and take the swat for the girl. But anyway, so I decided I would make a fraternity paddle, and this is the fraternity paddle that I made. It's made out of about a half-inch plywood, and on the front of it says, "I'm a bad boy."
Wow.
And this is what I don't think I ever.
On the wall.
Yes, it hung on the wall, except for Joy, and Joy would take and hide it.
Yep.
And for the longest times, I would never be able to find it.
And then we put it back up, and then
He'd go find it again. But see, this is
he wasn't going to leave it there where, close at
Yeah.
hand, where.
Yeah.
actually it has Danny right here. I don't know why it says Danny.
Uh-huh.
Danny.
Yeah, I think that would have been probably Joey writing that
Joey
I
writing.
was the bad boy, not him.
No, I'm sure. Anyway,
Wow, that's
but
right.
I don't think I ever did spank him with this, did I?
No.
All I had to do was just make it.
And my mother had a little stick above the stove, and she used to tell me, "Now, do I have to go get that stick?" And it just scared me to death. Well, the stick was like
A little tiny one.
3 or 4 inches long, which you couldn't have hit anybody with it if you tried.
Yeah.
But
Oh,
I was
man.
sure scared that she was going to hit it. So and mine was Bob's sort of the same idea. However, you could hurt someone with that.
Pretty serious.
And we didn't spank Joey because all it did was make him just
It made
boiling
you
mad.
Yeah.
Mm.
And so we just cut all the rules that weren't important. No murdering and
Yeah.
no arson and things like that that are really important.
Yeah.
Because we didn't want to be saying no to him all the time, and we didn't want to be punishing him all the time.
Mm.
So we just figured out what was the most important to us. And
Well, I remember some of the things I remember from you guys was you would always say that things don't matter, people matter.
Yeah.
And if something
Yeah.
got broken, it didn't. It was just an
Yeah.
accident, and it didn't matter. And,
that's what my mother used
Yeah,
to say.
your mom used to say that all the time.
yeah.
So, except my green lady doll. If somebody breaks out, it's going to matter a lot.
Yeah.
Because that's one
Come
of
on
the
up,
things
Sandy.
I'm giving you.
In fact, Danny wants to put his name on it.
Oh, I will. I'll put his name on a piece of
Yes.
tape. Because it's worth a lot of money.
I don't care if it's worth a lot of money. I just love it because
It was my
I've seen that
mother's.
since I was young.
And it was important, and this is one of the things.
What have you got up there?
What is it? Oh,
This is for Karen.
That's for Karen. Oh, yeah. You
Because
have to
she
come
was
with
tasting,
you-
over here. This is a crystal picture.
Oh.
And it's a really good, I don't know if you can,
yeah, you can tell by.
but it's a nice one.
Oh, that's beautiful.
And I have some, other pictures. My sister Pat has probably 45 pictures.
Oh yeah.
I don't know
She's a
what.
collector.
Yes, she collects
Collects
those.
pictures.
And Santa Claus.
In fact, do you recognize that picture on the wall?
Of George Washington.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's from Joey's house.
Oh really?
Yeah. what happened was, they moved into this new home, and every one of you has this picture, right?
Yeah, we all have that
Every
picture.
boy, every one of our sons has that
And
picture.
Brian, too.
And Brian does, I think, too.
Mhm.
On the wall in their in their home someplace. Well, so Joey moves into this new home, and the only place where you can put a picture is too small for that big picture. So he
Oh.
buys another one,
Yeah.
a smaller one, and then he gave. So this, when we were there, just there, he gave that to Susie, Nani, and I as our Mother and Father's Day present.
Well, we get the hair one, eh?
Oh, you
You
got a
get the
hair.
hairy one, you bet.
Well,
What did you, oh,
go ahead.
I was just gonna say, are you really taking your dog with you?
I think dog's on your computer.
Talking about a dog.
Hi, Sammy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think
I-
we'll take our Jade with us.
You can't be parted.
Yeah, I'm a little worried about leaving her here. I feel bad leaving her here. I think she'll do okay. It's just one trip from Utah to Montana
Yeah.
that it's a little tight because we're having Carrie's niece with us.
And
So-
I have kind of a memory of you having a problem, not just the time you had the car broke down,
Mm-hmm.
when you were bringing someone home from the dance, wasn't it?
Oh yes, yes. I had a date with this girl up, and it was in Baltimore, and the car broke down, and Poppie had to drive up and rescue me.
But you weren't still in Baltimore. There was nothing around, was it? Or were you in?
I can't
Were you in
remember.
the
No, I think
city?
I went to. It was some girl named. I can't remember what her name was, but I went up, and then the car died. I couldn't get home, and I was so worried 'cause I had to call you and say I got to sleep at their house. I swear I'm sleeping on the couch. I'm not sleeping with her. I'm on the couch, and I said spend the night there. And I think I spent the night. Or no, I think you came and got me, like at midnight or something.
Yeah, really. Like,
Really late to come pick me up, and we had to go back up and get the car the next day.
Well, the problem. What happens is our stake was huge.
Yeah.
And our stake, we lived in Gaithersburg where our ward house was, but the steakhouse was just outside of Baltimore, which was what,
Like an hour?
40 miles away?
Yeah.
I don't know. It was a long ways away, and that's where they would have the steak dances.
Mm-hmm.
So we didn't have a curfew until 1 o'clock.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah,
you
because
had
it
to-
would take you way long.
If there were more than just you in the car,
Yeah.
and you took everyone home.
I wasn't very good about curfews.
No.
What?
I wasn't very good about
No.
curfews.
No, you weren't. But you know what? Dottie would get so upset.
Yes.
Because we didn't make you come home.
Yes. She said, you made
Whenever
John.
she thought you should. And we let you get up and go out and meet your friends in the woods.
Yes.
Yes.
And I said, Dottie, he's never gotten in any trouble. And she said, well, not yet. I said, no, and he won't. And he always tells me before he goes that he's going to do that. And I said, that's fine with me, as long as, he knows I trust him.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
I used
crazy.
to say it to you guys.
There was only one time when
Oh,
John
yes.
woke me up, and I don't know what time it was, in the middle of the night, and came and said,
1 or 2 o'clock.
Danny's not home yet. And so we took off,
And you were on your bicycle.
and you were on your bicycle, and was that the time that we found your bike? Oh no, we found where you were
Because the bike was
because
up.
the bike was there,
Mm.
and you were at a friend's place, and it was very late.
And the TV was still on. They said they could see the
Yeah.
TV.
Mm-hmm.
So we didn't do anything, did we?
No, you
I
just
think we
came
just came
home.
back.
Well, I think they came back. I did I get in trouble and I had to get my license like
You
a month
probably
later
got in
or
trouble.
something, and,
Yes.
Pretty sure I got in trouble for
Yes, I
that.
think, and you kept calling me at work and saying, was Dad
Oh,
really
was
mad?
that it? Yeah, oh, that's right, I didn't say a thing, yeah.
Yeah.
For a couple days.
Yeah. And And by then you were so spooked because he
Yeah.
wasn't talking to you very,
Yeah.
So, you did get to have your driving privileges curtailed. I mean, you couldn't get your license
Delayed.
for 2 weeks.
Yeah, I think that was bad.
But that was the only time.
I think I blocked that out.
You blocked out.
I remember one time that, I don't know, you were following some guy coming back from high school.
Yeah.
You didn't get in an accident, did you? Did you get in a little accident, or some guy wanted your name and he didn't like the way you were driving. Some guy that was, some old guy.
Some old guy. I can't remember that either.
You can't remember? That's good, that's selective.
Yep.
That's where.
Yes. There were lots of times that were fun. Do you-
Yes.
Do you remember when John had, John wanted to ask that girl in Gaithersburg
Oh, yes.
for a date, and he wrote her a note, and Joey pretended like he was the private investigator
Yeah.
or whatever, and her mother came to the door, and she had on this funny hat. Because we
Yes.
called and told her that they were coming. You were there.
I remember that.
Yes.
Mhm.
Wasn't there a decoder ring or something like that?
Yes.
That she, and so,
She had to decode the
yes,
message.
and the message was, would you go out with me or something like that?
Yeah.
Dance or something.
And that really was quite clever, because Joey went up to the door, the mother came out with a funny hat, and she looked out the door, and she got the message, and then somehow, oh, in fact, you did the taping, didn't you?
And
Yeah.
we videoed it, yeah.
You
Yeah.
videoed it. And then the next thing you saw was that there was this coat just that Joey had on,
yeah.
laying down on the ground, as if he just vanished into thin air.
Yes.
It was funny.
I remember that. We did some clever
I
things.
can now remember things about when Dottie stayed with us. And how we loved her.
Yes.
And I brought her home, before that, I brought her home from work whenever the missionaries were coming. And she was such a sweet and pretty girl.
Yep. We picked her out for John.
Yes?
Yeah.
Although maybe you didn't realize you were picking her out for John at the time, but...
No.
No, because she felt safe with him because he was way too young
Yeah.
for her to get hurt by.
So, yeah, those are good times.
Well,
Well,
now it's 10 to 10 and you guys,
yeah, so we're going to have to leave tomorrow morning early, so...
Yes.
you don't mean like at 4 o'clock, so do you?
No. We have to leave here by 8. So is there anything else you want to say on your video of from the kids?
We had the best boys ever.
Yes. We
Because
give thanks
every night.
almost every night in our prayers
Mm.
for how good you guys are.
You always, even if you did something wrong, you were honest about it, and you just never gave us any trouble about
No.
going to church, and you never got picked up by the police, and
Never got put in jail.
it was,
Never got kicked. Oh.
and you were all pretty religious, although you did get kicked out of school.
I was thinking somebody got kicked out of
When
school
you
for
were
fighting.
9, because, and you were kind of a little bit of a nerd then, but Brian was coming to stay, and we had all year
Oh,
round
that's
school,
right.
and he was out of school,
Mm-hmm.
and he came and stayed with us, and they told you, well, you said that I told you. What I did tell you was if anyone's, don't start a fight. If anyone hits you, hit them back 3 times as hard as you can, and then run like you, because you're not very big and you don't want them to get you. Well, you reinterpreted that so that it was hit them 3 times and then kick them in the balls or And there was this guy who was always the bully, and he wouldn't obey the traffic guards.
Yeah.
And you told him to obey them, and he said to go and meet you in the park,
Mhm.
and you beat him. And then the next day, or maybe it was that same day, I don't know, the kids voted you to be the president of the class.
Yes.
But you weren't sad at all because you got, the principal called and told me not to let you go outside and play. And I said, okay, I won't. But then you got to stay inside and do Legos with Brian.
Play with Brian
Yeah, because
instead.
Brian came.
Yes. I remember that.
Well, I hope you do, because, it's the only time you got in trouble. Well, John was the other one. He got in trouble with the principal one day because the principal found him fighting 3 different times. And that wasn't good.
Yeah.
He had to promise not to fight anymore.
I'm surprised they didn't send him home or something.
I think they did.
They made
Oh yeah.
I had to come pick him up.
John liked to fight.
John did. Can you believe that John?
Gentle John.
Gentle John?
Yeah. He liked to
But
fight.
he wasn't going to take
Dan
any.
says that she asked David about that. She said, "Does John really like to fight?" And he said, "Oh yes, he does." And she said to him, "Well, do you like to fight?" And he said, "No, I have bodyguards." And Joey pretty much had bodyguards too.
Do you
Those
remember?
big-
Those big black guys.
Yeah. Do you remember
Really?
when Joey chased that poor kid for a month?
Or maybe at least a month, yeah. Because what did he do? The boy hit him or
He
something?
hit him in the head with his lunchbox. I think it was an accident, but he did.
Oh.
And then Joey got all of his friends together and
Yes.
chased the poor little boy, but we never knew about it.
Yeah. He chased him at recess for months.
For months.
That was their new game.
Mm-hmm. Then, he held a grudge.
Yeah. Sure.
But Amy has thoughtfully taken most of that and smoothed it out. Because he used to have a harder time holding his temper with the children.
Mhm.
And he'd say, but all I ask of them is that they mind me the first time.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I said, that's all any parent wants.
Yes.
But,
Yes. I could see where Joey had a little bit of temper.
mhm,
So.
yeah.
Well, when I was a kid, I had a terrible temper.
Did
I
you?
didn't.
I did. I had a really bad temper. But then I went on a mission. And you cannot get mad continually for people slamming the door in your face and all that.
Yeah.
And you just can't just continually be mad. So I got over it. The mission
Wow.
stopped me. Yeah, that's where I lost my temper. I finally learned. It's not worth it. I mean, because I'd be mad all day long.
Yeah.
I can really, when I was growing up, I only remember you getting angry once.
Yeah, I don't, because I really didn't. I really got.
Yep.
No. And I'd say to you guys, you know when I'm mad because there's steam coming out of my ears and I'm yelling. And they said, and then when I get quiet, then is when I'm really angry.
Mhm.
I said, but your dad has the same expression on his face when he's happy or when he's mad.
Yep.
And he can get his belt off really
I
quite
can get my
quickly.
belt off real fast.
Better be careful.
So, you better not do the things that around us
Yeah.
get you.
Wow.
But we just really were lucky. You all did really well in school. I got to go to the parent-teacher conferences, and they all said nice things. Some of them said interesting things about you. But all of the boys are smart, and it was just wonderful to have. You know, after you see some of your friends whose children have been so difficult.
Mm-hmm. Well, you guys did a great job raising us.
We did a good
Well, we
job.
think
And so did
you came that way.
Yeah, we believe
We
that.
believe, we didn't do anything. We
It-
think you guys just came that way. You just
I-
came good.
I say that it's because that was my gift for enduring my childhood. I got to have wonderful children.
Well, it was fun.
That was fun. It was
Yes.
fun to, I wish that in heaven we could just turn on the DVD and
Mm-hmm.
And probably will
and
be
see
able
it. See that, you know, okay, when we were in this house and the boys were doing, I remember you used to beat David at risk when you were 5 or 6. And you beat him at chess and that's when you begin to be tortured.
If I'd really been smart, I would have let him win.
Yeah, that's right.
So.
And
All right, we better wrap this DVD up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, thank you guys for.
Well, it was a good
Recording.
start, yeah.
Yes, we better
Sorry,
good
I fell
start.
asleep,
You have to
guys.
write it
That's
down.
all right.
All right, I'll stop this.